Here are some bonus materials not everyone has, but could be helpful. A whiteboard explainer video is when you visually show how your industry or your process works, and you get like a cartoonist to draw like a whiteboard or full color video of how that works. If you still want to make it personal, my recommendation would be to start saying, hey, I'm Richard Wilson, founder of InvestorClub.com or founder of Family Office Club. Let me show you exactly how our community interacts and why it's productive. And I turn towards a whiteboard on my office wall and start to draw with a blue marker. And then the cartoonist takes over because I don't know how to draw, and they can do everything for like, several $100s and make it look good. So if you do a whiteboard video, I'd recommend that so they get to know you personally and make a personal connection with who you are. Everybody would rather watch a 3-minute video from an articulate, well-informed founder than look over a 40-page pitch deck. They learn more about you 3 minutes in person or on video than they do by reading an essay of your ideas. They can see how sharp, smart, focused, how friendly you might come off or not, etc. A couple other ones here worth mentioning is just podcast interviews, documentary video we talked about. A shock and awe package is a Dan Kennedy idea again. And it's basically, if you had educational materials, and let's say you're in the real estate tech space or the oil and gas space, and you have a little device that goes on oil rigs, put a little model of that device in the package. Or like we own part of a bath salt manufacturing company in Kentucky. You could send 3 packages of bath salts with your materials, with your financials, with things in the mail, and people aren't used to getting that in the mail. We sent for years in a red envelope a Family Office Monthly newsletter, and it was a red envelope, their family crest in the corner, just giving away thought leadership. And after we stopped, 2 years later, the Neutrogena skincare family reached out to us and said, hey, you used to send us that red newsletter. We always read it. Not sure why you stopped, but we remembered you and we need to hire someone to our team. Do you know anyone that could help us? And they just kind of cold reached out to us years later, because no one does that. And we have at our Super Summit, we had people raise their hands, and we had 700-800 people in the room. Everybody in the room, whether they're an investor or not, got 100 plus emails a day, not per month, but per day. Then I had people raise their hand if they got more than 2-3 pieces of mail for not per day, but the whole month, that just add value to you, and was not a postcard about a real estate sold 2 streets away, and was not trying to sell you something. And it was just thought leadership, just insight. Nobody sends that out because that's adding value. Everyone else is trying to like hard close you. And like Gary Vaynerchuk says, in a world of jabbers, he's a counterpuncher. He waits, listens, and then offers something that someone's going to want. Instead of just reaching out, trying to make a sale cold and grabbing someone's arm in a coffee shop and trying to sell them a vacuum. So you want to get them into your world and show them like, hey, I have value. Here's some free value. Here's some free value. Here's some free value. And then the relationship interchange is not a risky investment of their time because they've already profited from the value you've given them, and nobody bothers to do that. So it costs about $1 a month to do that per person for the red envelope, just 1-page value-add newsletter, printing that out in color, putting it in the mail, not folded, not in a white envelope. It gets lost with the other 50 envelopes that come in per week. And I'd recommend you at least do it with your top 100 investor leads, if not top 300, just $100 a month. If you can afford your cell phone bill, you can afford to drip on your most valuable investors, and then you can raise some extra money, right? But nobody does that. But for some of you, that could be part of the unfair advantage, stacking that on top of everything else we talked about today. It's not expensive, and no one does it. And I started this business with $600 in my bank account and $1,000 a month in rent in Harvard Square. So I couldn't afford to do expensive ideas. I couldn't afford to buy billionaires.com. It took me 12 years negotiating that deal to get it done. So I like giving away ideas where there's no excuse of we're not there yet. We're not a huge firm, because I know what that's like.